Buckeyes. Red Wings falling at home to Winnipeg. Final score 2-1. Pistons host Boston tonight at the LCA, 7 p.m. Right here on the ticket. Wings make that Pistons still one of the few unbeaten teams left in the NBA. Pistons guard Luke Kennard has a shoulder sprain. He's out at least 2 weeks. And at the ticket update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97onetheticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We've got an unbelievable panel this morning. We bring in, to my right, of course, always Harry Glanz.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing today, Harv?
Hey, Harry, I'm doing fantastic things. Of course, Becky Alley from our office. Hey, Becky.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
There she is, always a ball full of energy, or more.
Or more.
Or more, a lot
Or
more.
more.
Hey, we bring in some special guests today. We bring in Gap Realty, and it's Alex Pandolf. Of course, Alex, a broker owner over there. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning, Detroit.
All right, I love
Welcome.
that. We're going to talk all about Alex's closing rooms. He's got a Michigan closing room and a Michigan State closing room, and there's also an Ohio State room somewhere in the building.
Yeah, it's in the basement.
Deep in the cells.
So, yeah, we might not be making friends on that side. Hey, and Sherry Frazak.
Yeah, Frasiak.
I got that. Sherry. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Sherry, I know you're nervous about getting on the air and all that, and you're like, as soon as
So,
I
yeah,
hit you
bring it
talk,
to everybody's attention.
well, you know, I start talking to her last night, and I said, well, let's just talk. I go, Sherry, where'd you eat dinner last night? So I want to. This sounds like this is the best lasagna you ever had, and it's somewhere downriver. Where was that?
Baldo's.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh,
So the
it
guys
is
at
good.
Baldo's are definitely going to get a little plug this morning because they're serving the right Italian food.
Oh, yeah, it's delicious. Everything's homemade. Really good.
It is
food.
really good there. Yes, I agree.
Brownstown. Go see 'em.
Oh, down in Brownstown. Good. A little shout out to our folks downriver for sure. And of course, you guys are downriver and you bring us a lot of what's going on, the expertise of the downriver community. We've had a lot of great agents on in the area because downriver's always rocking. I mean, there's price ranges anywhere from the starter homes all the way up to the $1 million homes on the island and, of course, off the river and such. So, yeah, it's really great to have you guys. Tell me a little bit about what your office is all about. And, I know a little bit about Gap Realty, but share it with everyone out there.
Well, we've been around for 3 years. We have 55 agents with all
Wow.
different years of kind of experience.
Yeah.
Anything from residential to commercial, leasing, selling, buying.
Great.
And you guys are the only, there's no other Gap Realty.
Nope,
Like
we're
you
it.
are the
We're
end all
it.
be all.
Yep.
That's really awesome.
I'm talking to you last night, Alex, like, literally like you have, 5 to 20 people in there and you said 55. I fall off my chair and I'm like, that's a lot of agents. So you definitely are doing a lot of transactions in the office, keeping busy. You see some trends. I mean, we've talked about the last 6-7 weeks or so, although our office numbers are not showing it. There's definitely been, the national numbers are showing a bit of a slowdown and maybe a trend towards a little bit more of a buyer's market. Sherry, do you see that a little bit with your people out there?
I do. It seems like since school started, everything kind of just slowed down a little bit.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I think isn't that really the natural progression of where we live and how people buy? I mean, it's hot March, April, all the way through September. Kids get in school.
Yep.
We call them the stragglers. The stragglers get back. It heads into the first week of October. Then they're all settled in school, and then all of a sudden the weather turns really cold, and you see kind of a slowdown. Isn't that natural for our area?
Well, human beings are natural procrastinators anyway. So when it
Right.
gets to the wintertime, everyone just automatically go into that hibernation and think like, okay, well, it's the holidays. It's time for me to kind of slow it down. But really things need, and because your personal life speeds up. So you're trying to get the holidays going and all that. So everyone wants to, well, I'll wait because who wants to move in the snow? But, in your guys' thought process, I would think that sometimes it would be better to get out there if you're really motivated and shop during the snow because you're not going to have to deal with all those that high competition for multiple offers on every single home.
If anyone ever tells you to stop searching because it's winter, don't listen to them. Find yourself a different agent. It stays busy all year round. But this year, like you said, it has slowed down a little bit more. I think we have a bunch of frustrated buyers that have been in the multiple offer situation and they didn't get the home. And everyone wanted to get their kids in the new school district, and I think they just hit the switch off. But we will pick up again.
Yeah, and I think we've been in. This is the 7th year of a very strong
It's
seller's
like,
market,
yes.
right?
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
the 7th year. It couldn't sustain itself forever. Nothing lasts forever. So what you're seeing is it's slowing down. And one of our friends at one of the papers at Detroit Free Press, her name is Susan Tomport. She's been covering real estate and finance in this area for as long as I can remember. So I'm going to say 30 years. Sorry, Susan, if I'm dating you. the bottom line is that she wrote a great piece the other day in the paper, and she talks about it. It says, spike in mortgage rates sends chills through Metro Detroit home sales. If you haven't read it, you should pick it up. We're going to go to some excerpts from it. But here's the situation. What you have is you have us going into the colder weather. You have the kind of maybe the end. I hate to say that. You have a slowdown in a 7-year seller's market, and you have a spike in interest rates. So what do we think is going to happen? Okay, it's going to slow down a little bit.
Right.
But that's okay because you know what? There's still plenty of homes coming on the market. Now, there might not be, ladies and gentlemen, the number of offers on a particular home, which would be great for our buyers.
Right. You can get in there. Your offer is going to be the first one they're going to see instead of, well, let me see, I got a cash offer. And you always got the backup cash offer, right? And all that other business. So it's nice to be able to get into a home when you like it as soon as it hits the market, because you are going to have that motivated seller for whatever reason that might put their house in the market during the winter months, and then you can jump on it and it's yours instead of having to fight for it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Becky. We definitely going to take all your calls this morning, 248-539-9797. If you have a home that hasn't sold yet, if you have a listing that's about to expire, or if you're straight up a buyer, you want to maybe even get in on the Michigan Down Payment Assistance Program. That's right, folks. The state of Michigan was awarded $20 million from the government.
Money.
We call it free money. I'll call it freed money.
Kinda.
The money's out there, though. It's $15,000 grand if you qualify for the MSHDA program, Down Payment Assistance Program. Again, find out if you qualify by calling Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's where you can find all of us throughout the week and all weekend long. In fact, we just kicked off today. We're going to be kicking off our home buying seminars at the office. We're doing 1-hour home buying seminars every Saturday morning. Definitely call Capital Mortgage at 1-800-LOW-RATE. Find out if you can get your name on the list and go on in there. Really light and easy, tons of information. Beck, as you know, our deal at Capital Mortgage is all about educating the buyers.
absolutely.
And, the education of the buyers gives you the confidence, Sherry. We see it so often. The educated buyers, the ones that know the next step, it just makes the process so much easier. And also, as Becky was saying, that less competition, you're not waving inspect. There was some crazy stuff going on there, and people didn't care. They were going to overpay on the house. But now you can step back a little bit and do things cautiously and maybe even negotiate a little bit better deal for yourself on the buyer side, because you can do that inspection. And that might reveal that you got a bad hot water heater, for example, and maybe you can get some seller's concessions out of it.
Right.
You see a little bit of that going on with your buyers right now, don't you?
I do.
No more waiving, no contingency waivers as much. Or
Right. Yeah, not as much.
248-539-9797 will definitely be turning into what the government and the higher ups there. Nobel Peace Prize Robert Schiller says, don't be fearful of what's going on. There's not that big of a slowdown. Of course, the lack of inventory here is what we're talking about, and that's what's really led us. And I don't know if that article talks about it, but the lack of inventory is really what's made all the home prices go up over the last 7 years.
Yeah, that's what's happened since 2012. There was a lack of inventory because everybody was snapping things up in a hot minute. Now there are more homes on the market. We're going to continuously see more homes go out through the market. So
They're going to stay longer. They're
so
sitting longer.
right. So come springtime, you could have your pick. And we're finding that out. And we're also talking to people. They ask, so what are interest rates going to do? Well, the Fed has taken a stance that in December they might raise again another 0.25% in interest rates. And that's the Fed funds rate. And what does that really mean for a 30-year fixed or a 15-year fixed rate? Well, it means that it's not going down. Okay, that's what it means. It could stay the same.
They're never going to zero.
Well, yeah, they're not going to zero. Mortgage rates can only do three things. They go, up, down, stay the same. We hope they stay the same and level out. But that's what we're seeing. And
But the reality of that, too, is we were spoiled. If you think about it, okay, rates in the threes, that is historically low. We're never going to see those rates that low ever again, I don't think, in our lifetime, maybe a long time. I don't know, perhaps. But even if the rates are in the 5.5, 6s, that's still a 40-year low.
That's right. And I
low.
think, Becky, that's why you're seeing people right now. You call them procrastinators. We call them stragglers and procrastinators.
Yeah, a little bit.
What we're seeing right now is that there are people that are coming to the forefront that are actually buying now because they want it. Maybe they feel like they missed it a little bit. They realize rates aren't going down. So they're hopping on the bandwagon and they're refinancing their homes. They're pulling cash out or they're buying a new home. And we're seeing that, and that's why in the last 5 weeks, I know the market has slowed down, but in the last 5 weeks, our applications are actually up.
Yeah, I think that it's the home buying, like normally, like you said, it slows down. But for me, I am getting a lot of purchase agreements still to, where they've been looking for 6 months, 7 months. Some of them have even been a year, and they're finally starting to find those homes now that the overall, like the market is kind of like weeded itself out. Now you have those people that are finally like, they're really motivated. They've been motivated, and they're going to continue to be motivated even through the winter months, regardless, because they need to find a house, and now it's perfect for them.
And they might not have children that needed to move into a school system.
Yes.
So,
yes.
That's where we're at.
Alrighty. That music says we're up against our first break here. 248-539-9797. We come back. All your questions.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:17. That's right, we got a lot of football coming up. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. But first, our mortgage show up till 10 o'clock. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. I mean, really deal with professionals have been in the industry for a very, very long time. There is a lot involved. I was just telling these guys, I said it out loud. When we get an easy buyer, I mean, they got the money, Harry. They got the funds to close. They've got the great credit. We've educated them. They're approved. They buy the house, they're ready to go. Those are easy deals. That's our bread and butter. It's
Right.
We really shine when there's something a little bit unique out there.
Well, when you put together a self-employed borrower that has about 4 K1s and 4 companies, and there's money being moved around from account to account, from business to personal, personal back to business, and you have to track all the funds. Basically when somebody turns their information into our office, into our people, that's really all they have to do, and then we take it from there. So nobody sees what we do behind the scenes. We put it all together. Our underwriters are solid. Our processing staff's been around for a long time. Our closing department is the best in the industry, and we just get it done. And that's how that has to work. And that's why relationships are so important. You have a singular point of contact. They take care of everything, and they get it done, and we're closing loans in 20, 21, 22 days. The point is we don't even need to close them that fast anymore. You don't need to. Back in the day, people were rushing to close. How fast? One of the biggest objections, why, and we're going to ask Nash why people use him. Why should everybody go to you, Nash? It's the same question people ask me. Well, why should I go to you? Well, why you should come to us is because we know how to bake a cake. Okay, we know how to make all the ingredients, put it all together, and make it come out at the end and taste real good. That's what we do. All right, and we could do it if you want to do it in 22 days, 20 days, it doesn't even matter anymore.
There it is, the right ingredients.
They all close. It's about the communication and the relationship. And if you don't have that relationship and can't trust somebody, why are you going to them? So, Nash, why do people go to you?
Well, thanks for that question. That's a great question. I do bring to the table a lot of experience, and I do have the technical expertise behind me and also the negotiation skills. Janine and I worked on a lot of complicated deals, speaking of self-employed borrowers and
international borrowers. I know you guys had
borrowers and stuff like that.
Right.
And I guess I didn't throw many easy deals at Janine, maybe 1 or 2, but most of them are real complicated. And guess what? We got them closed, got them on time, and most of the time, really, they were great deals. It was a win-win situation for everybody.
It's
Stop by for your chance to win Michigan Lottery's $2 10 times the money $2 instant game. There's fun in every one. Get your seats now. Call 313-471-7575 or visit DetroitRedWings.com for your tickets to any Red Wings home game. The Dallas Stars are coming to Little Caesars Arena to take on the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow.
You could win the ticket signing bonus. Brought to you by WeFixMoney.com. Need emergency cash? Check out WeFixMoney.com for more. $1,000 12 times every weekday. Listen for the keyword at 1/2 each hour between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Text that keyword to 72881 before the end of that hour. Message and data rates apply. And you could win a $1,000 signing bonus.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show, 9/17. October 27th already, 2018. Yes, I don't even know where, we just say back, I don't even know where September went, but October's already gone.
Yeah, I said September was like, 5 minutes long. I feel like October was 2. I can't even deal with it.
Well,
I can't.
Definitely be safe out there. It's one of those holiday weekends because Halloween falls on Wednesday, so I think everyone's out there
All them
enjoying
Halloween
themselves.
parties this weekend.
Halloween
There you
party
go.
at the office on Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah, look out.
Do the right thing, okay? Be
Best
safe.
contest winner over here with my
Yeah,
team.
every year probably.
Anyways, you got to tune to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We take your calls here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Got the experts Sherry and Alex in from Gap Realty down in the Downriver area. We'll talk all about the areas they cover. First, let's go out to Daryl out there. Good morning, Daryl. Welcome to our show.
Yes, hello?
Yes, go ahead with your
Morning.
question.
Oh, yes. If I heard you guys correct. Oh, by the way, good morning also.
Thank you.
Good morning.
If I heard you guys correctly. Y'all was saying something about, I believe there's a down payment assistance, something like got payment. I didn't get all. I came in I just turned the radio on the back end of that.
Yeah, let us
And
fill you
I was just
in.
wondering what that was about.
Yeah, it's the program is through the state of Michigan. It's called MIJDA, and it's basically where you're able to qualify. You either fit in the box or you don't, but they offer down payment assistance. And right now, there's a special program called the Step Forward, where they're even offering. Normally it was $7,500, but now it's $15,000 that can go towards your down payment, closing costs, and even paying down the mortgage. Once your closing costs, down payment, and all that is exceeded. So there's specific things that go along with it, but absolutely, it's definitely something that we can take a look at and get you in, in that program and make sure you fit, so that and then get you hooked up with a real estate agent as well.
Yeah, because the reason why I always listen to you guys also. But
Thanks.
we're going to be buying in the Itchy Township area.
Okay.
And this was around in April, and I also heard you guys say that it should be pretty good picking that time of year.
Should be.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you want to wait till the spring? Just timing and.
Well, because we're leasing now, and our lease is
Oh,
up
okay.
in April, so we're doing some things, clear our credit, get our credit cleaned up, and hopefully when it's time for us to buy, we'll give you guys a call, and you guys can help us through the process.
Well, yeah, I'll
there
tell
you
you what, we'll, Harvey or myself will give you a call after the show, because a big thing is that when someone is repairing their credit, just from my expertise or from my knowledge, I would say, sometimes when you're thinking that you need to fix your credit, sometimes you might be focusing on the wrong things. So when you talk to us, we're going to hone in specifically on what you need to do to get the most points possible. So while you might be thinking, I need to pay off, this, it might be something that you just pay off maybe $100 on a certain credit card, and that could get you up 100 points, or even medical collections, right? From a mortgage standpoint, we don't really care about medical collections as much. However, your credit score is gravely affected by that. So there's different tricks that we can do to where, maybe we can see if we can get that medical collection not only paid, but deleted off the credit report. And a lot of times I've seen somewhere is up to like 50 to 100 point improvement. So that's definitely something that we can discuss, because you don't want to go through it blindly. If you know that there's some credit updates and fixings that needs to take place, talk with us. We'll guide you. It'll be a hand-holding experience, and we'll educate you throughout the process to make sure that you're focusing on those right things, like I said, so that way you're not wasting your time or your money on the wrong items.
All right. And while you're doing that, you also have to continue to make your payments on time.
Yes.
And don't pay anybody that says they can fix your credit for you.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Okay, don't write anybody a $500 check and do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Daryl. Great stuff. We're excited for you. We'll look forward to having you as a buyer real soon. 248-539-9797. Becky, you say the most important things is take a look now at it. Yeah, definitely. If you've got some credit issues at all, there's a difference between a consumer credit report and a mortgage credit report. We know of those differences. But more importantly, like this great program that Mishta offers, their minimum credit score for the program is 640. Now, we can get people financed with lower credit scores. FHA credit scores we see in the low 600s are often getting approved.
Right.
So, but the key is you can't get that money. And that money, that $15,000 will be gone, but they'll probably still have that $7,500 down payment assistance programs throughout the year.
There's different ways and different things to take advantage of. And even if you don't fit into that Mijda cookie cutter, you fit in this box, you don't fit in this box, we have multiple first-time home buyer programs. And even if you're not a first-time home buyer and you need a minimum down payment to get into the next house, because you don't need that 20% to buy a house. That's a huge misconception. So we have multiple programs. Give us a call. We'll guide you through it. And that's what our job is to kind of calm the emotions down, right? We were talking about before that real estate and mortgages, although they are sexy, right? They do bring out emotions in people, good, bad, everything. Right. So it's up to us as far as, to slow it down a little bit. Educate you. We do this for a living every day. So sometimes we'll take for granted, we'll throw some mortgage lingo and real estate lingo. We need the EMD. Well, we're over here at Capital Mortgage Funding, we break that down. We let you know the EMD stands for earnest money deposit. What you put down is good faith on the purchase agreement. So as Harvey's always really preaching is we're all about education. I know you guys are the same way over at Gap Realty. You're family, right? You're not just transactional. Once they deal with you, they are with you for life, right?
Absolutely. We like to take care of our people at Gap Realty. We even carry juice boxes in our refrigerator for when they come in for closings and they have children.
It's true. I've been in there, and he's like, literally, he is a very present broker. They are very much a family. Like he says, he's buying them lunch every day. Every time I'm in there, it's great.
Shh, my wife might be listening.
I think it's key. I think that's really key because it is emotional experience. Remember, people want what they want when they want it, and they often want it now.
Yes.
They want things to move faster than they really do. There is a process. If you get caught up in the emotion of buying a home and you drive by that house and you walk in and somebody's going to say, I got to have it. I'll do whatever I have to do to get that house. Well, let's slow it down, okay? Let somebody negotiate the best situation for you, okay? And then what we do is you have to get an inspection. We talk about it every week, Harvey Freed. We do not want you to waive an inspection clause. Do not do that. This is the largest purchase of your life. If we say it 1,000 times, we're going to say it 1,000 more times. Don't waive an inspection. It's very important that you hire the inspector. The inspector works for you. You're buying that house. They work for the buyer.
Again, if they have any questions, something comes up always here on the heating and cooling system. Now you can bring in an expert heating and cooling company, double take a look, make sure the register's not cracked, make sure there's not things in the furnace that are going to give out. And again, when you buy a house, the key is that you're not house poor and that the money that you are working with, you're going to be able to use those funds for whatever improvements you were thinking about. Alex, Sherry, you see that often when you're running a family through there. You know that they don't have an extra $25,000 at the end of the close, and they have an extra maybe $3,000 to $5,000 where they're going to paint some rooms or buy those appliances. And we'd hate to see a situation where they need a sewer repair or something extravagant like a brand new furnace or something of that.
Well, a lot of buyers will look and think that, well, there's a city inspection. Well, there's an FHA inspection. Why do I need a private inspection? It's because the private inspector works for you. I've probably had 25 deals go south because of the private home inspection, but that's because the inspector is doing his job and the buyers end up finding a better house anyway. So in the long run, that $400 you spend is definitely worth it.
Well, most inspection issues that pop up, Sherry, as we talked about last time, these things can be negotiated, and that's just it at the end of the day. You have a motivated seller and a motivated buyer, and if something does pop up on a home inspection, so you negotiate it. Sellers are, at that point, they're ready to move on to their next house. They're looking forward to a closing date. So most of the time we can work out these little negotiation things. What have you come across recently that you were sort of shocked about on an inspection?
Well, I think probably the most shocking was... I'm
going to stump you with that one.
Yeah, you are.
We've had good inspections. Have you had some, most of the times, everything comes back pretty clean?
Yes, most of the time. Okay. There are some times where there's a few minor items, but between the seller and the buyer, we're always able to, negotiate those. They usually go pretty good, though.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is there's a lot of new construction over there in the last 20 years. So sometimes even they'll come into a house and the inspector will say, man, these windows are trash. So that's a very expensive one, too.
It's definitely a big ticket item.
That's right. That's
we
big.
just closed on a house in August, and the buyer had a private home inspection during the construction process and had some things that were
I'm going to let you go.
done.
Alex, hold
They
that
had to have
thought
the
there.
framing
All right.
reshored and stuff like that. So just because you're building new doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect.
Fair enough. All right. When we come back, Van Halen's telling us we're going to go to a quick break. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
Karsh and Anderson middays.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show. 9:31. If you're just joining us, of course, it's a big game coming up at noon. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We're going to have sports starting off at 10 o'clock. But first, of course, we'll finish up our hardcore mortgage real estate business show. Make sure you get all your finances and get that house you want. We were talking about lots of different things so far this morning, and including the millennials having that opportunity, Kev, as you mentioned, that market between really 375 and above, it's gotten a little bit slower, that next step up house. So there's some great opportunities out there for a lot of millennials. 248-539-9797. As your family's growing, give us a phone call. We'll talk about it, and we'll go to Kevin first out there and on the radio. Let's see, where are you at? Where city are you? I don't even know where you're at, Kev. Maybe on a cell phone. Good morning.
Hey, I'm from Ypsilanti.
There you go. What's going on out in Ypsilanti?
Okay, last week, me and my girlfriend, Davita, was talking about marriage and buying a home, and she asked me this question. She asked, is it better to have your house built than buying one? She want to know what is the pros and cons of having a house built than to buying one.
Okay. Good question. You want to tackle that one, Mr.
I
Kevin
love
Stewart?
that one. Build
Good.
versus buy is one of my favorite topics.
Okay.
I love talking through with people. So let me ask you a question. Do you currently own a home now?
No, renting.
Okay. So this is, you got to understand the truths and the fallacies of building a home. Typically, when you can't find inventory, when there's not a lot out there, that's the number one reason that people will build. They create their own inventory. Or they have extremely set ideas in their mind of what they want. They have a very specific house in mind that they want to do. So they actually go out and create that home. Understand, building is almost always, I can say almost always, going to be the more expensive route. Right. Generally, when you build a home, you are not going to be to a what I call a truly positive equity position for a few years, because there's a lot of things that you don't see. There's hidden costs. You know, it's usually going to come with a sprinkler system and maybe a lawn, but your front landscaping, your rear landscaping, your decking, window treatments, appliances, all of those things are what we call the hidden costs of building a home. And so you've got to have a lot of extra cash, if you're going to go into the process of building a home. So,
and it's a time frame thing too, right, Kev?
Oh, yeah, it's a time frame. It takes a long time to do. So if there's quality inventory, I'm not super familiar with Ypsilanti, but if there's good quality inventory in Ypsilanti, I can tell you at least give it the shot to try to find a what we'll call a used product first, a currently built home, because I think that you're probably going to get better advantage on that. The mortgage process, I'll be honest, is a little simpler. There's a lot about it that makes it a lot easier to purchase. I think it's most likely the better route.
Sports news all day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Parkway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Red Wings fall at home to the Winnipeg Jets. Final score 2-1. Pistons in action tonight against Boston at the LCA. They'll tip it up at 7 right here on 97.1 The Ticket. No Luke Kennard. He's out for at least 2 weeks with a right shoulder. Lions running back Theo Riddick out for a second straight game with a knee injury tomorrow with the Lions host Seattle. At the World Series last night, longest game in World Series history, went 18 innings before the Dodgers win it in walk-off fashion 3-2 over the Red Sox on a Max Muncy home run blast. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:32. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Brought
I
to
like
you by
that intro music
Capital
right there.
Mortgage Funding. You can dance for us back if you want.
I like it.
Again, call us at Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW RATE, the best mortgage banker. Deal with real mortgage professionals. Get a strong approval letter. We'll run it through the file. Make sure you're all set and ready to go. No surprise parties when you deal with Capital Mortgage Funding. You will get a great interest rate, the best service, and close on time. Right here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Let's roll off to Ethan. Ethan on a cell phone. Ethan, go ahead with your question.
Hi there. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
And woman. I was calling. I bought a house back in April. Went conventional with about 4 5/8%. We got it for $250. It was undervalued. It was appraised around $265. We want to drop that PMI. We got our assessment, our property assessment from the city. It went up about 3.4%. So, what are my options to drop this PMI?
Yeah.
Or once we hit 20% equity, will it automatically fall off?
No, it doesn't automatically fall off. What we'd like to do is Becky will tell you we have to get an appraisal on the property, and then we have to submit it.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at it. What we do is we would just, see what the market's done in your area, obviously. And, from what you're saying, like you already had built-in equity when you purchased the home, from what I was understanding. Now, rates have slightly shifted, since you purchased the home since the spring, but it's not going to be that detrimental to what you got going on. And absolutely, I actually have several transactions right now where they bought it in February, March, and right now we're removing that PMI. So it's definitely going to be worth it. And be honest with you, like you're saving like $100 a month in some of these situations.
Ethan, I dig this call because I was just thinking when the PMI falls off, maybe because there was a bump on the 30-year fixed mortgages, you drop your mortgage down to a 20-year.
Yep.
Now we're talking about you drop 9 years off your loan. You have more money going towards principal and no more money going towards the PMI. That's all gone. And you're probably in the same position with 9 years left on your mortgage, 9 less years on your mortgage. So something like that is where I like to guide you towards. What do you think about that?
That would be great. That would be wonderful because, dropping the PMI is around 190 right now. So.
Okay, yeah, then for sure. Then, converting it to even 25, even if that payment goes up a little bit too steep for you, but 25 to a 20-year, you're going to be putting yourself well ahead with this almost the same exact payment. And I think that that's going to be a lateral move for you for sure.
Yeah, this is a winner for you. We'll definitely follow up right after the show. It's a great call. We want to do business with you, Ethan, so thanks a lot for calling here. Of course, you can call Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW RATE, the best mortgage banker. But so many families bought, in the last 3 or 4 years, we've never had $12 trillion worth of equity out there. Yeah, they're building a new Menards near me. And again, I mentioned it last week, the
Menards.
big box stores and all the contractors out there, whether it be like, your FSM, your foundations, trying to get workers, trying to get the work done is hard because there is so much equity and families are taking that equity. Hopefully they're doing the right things with it. First step is get rid of all your toxic debt, especially going into the holidays. You can really set yourself up for success. If you refinance now, if you get into a mortgage shop now, you'll close in November. And of course, your first payment will be due January 1st. So you skip a payment in December during the holidays. And more importantly, you might be able to consolidate debt.
Payments.
Right. Boy, that's always a good one.
There's also a lot of cash out refinances happening, not only just to pay off debt, but let's just say they bought their houses 2-3 years ago. I'm getting a lot of calls, looking to tap into equity to finish those and do those upgrades that they couldn't necessarily do because they are tied up. Their assets were tied up during the down payment. They were buying, appliances, new furniture. So now here they are 2-3 years into the house and now they want to finish the basement. So that's another thing that we can look at as far as, take advantage of the fact that the market has shifted in your favor as far as you can take care of in that equity without having to take out a personal loan, which obviously is going to be much higher.
That's right. Let's go clarify that dog hissing in
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
studio
say that,
right
yeah.
now, Harry. That's 2 weeks in a row, but Harry keeps bringing his pooch in here.
It's
not
his
keep,
grand dog.
not keep bringing it in. This is the
she's not
second
a
time.
burden.
Don't keep bringing it in, Harvey.
She's not a burden. She's cute.
Anyway,
And she ate
we
through her
love-
leash
this
during
is
the
us.
commercial break.
it's part of home ownership.
It really
You
is.
have a dog. I mean, that's the way it
Well,
works.
at
Save
Capital
all the
Mortgage
dog.
Funding, we are huge animal lovers. There's always going to be a dog in our office. Not so much cats or birds or anything like that, but mainly dogs are going to be floating around the office. And
Well, we try to make it easy for people to do business at our office so they can bring their dog in. And by the way, I hate to put it in the same category. You can bring your kids in too if you want.
Yeah,
No problem.
you're really
That's
itching to be a
We just-
grandpa,
we just wanna
Harry.
do business.
You're really itching to be a grandpa. We'll get you there, boss. Don't
I like
worry.
the dog first.
they are great.
There's a certain order
grandparents.
of things that I like to do.
The fur babies. We love fur babies.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. Love to hear from you this morning. Of course, some inspections lead to other inspections. Find out all the different inspections, including the sewer line inspections, which we always want to remind our buyers. But again, all the different programs out there at Capital Mortgage, whether it be an FHA, VA, conventional, USDA purchase. We've got everything out there, and we do loans everywhere. So call 1-800-LOW rate. That's 1-800-569-7283, and we'll get you all set up with a strong approval letter and get you set up with some great real estate agents too. You guys are really just like old school. It's just you meet families, have a cup of coffee, we find out your wants and needs list. You guys got obviously a big shop, and you make it fun. It's just old school stuff.
We grind our beans for our coffee too. We don't just have some cheap stuff. We also have a 3-headed cappuccino machine to take care of all your needs.
All right, you
You
make
guys
it
are
fun.
fancy with that.
All right, that's always good stuff.
So
when you-
here, I have to ask the question I ask everybody. So appraisals, right? Right now, appraisals are coming in pretty good. I know I jinx it, Harvey, all the time. And, when you do as many transactions as we do, you do as many transactions, sooner or later you're going to find an appraisal that comes in low. And the dog's whining about low appraisals, too. Everybody whines about low appraisals. So what do you do when you go ahead and you negotiate what you think your best deal is, and all of a sudden the appraisal comes in low? What do you guys do?
As a listing agent, you want to make sure that the buyer can either bring the cash with the difference to closing. It depends how much, how low the appraisal is if it comes in.
Right.
Have you had a lot of those issues recently, Alex?
Yeah, I've had a couple VA loans that were kind of low. And what you can do is, what I do as a buyer's agent, I'll leave the comps that I use, to get to the price and leave them there for the appraiser to kind of help them.
Mm-hmm.
And either that or you renegotiate with the seller so they drop the price, or, they come to a happy medium and meet halfway. There's always, by the time you get to that process, the person buying the house is already moved in their head, and they want you to do anything you can to get the deal closed.
Right. And then when you're talking about a VA appraisal, that's a different rebuttal process. I mean, that's ordered, that's not ordered. We don't have any control over that. So it's a different rebuttal process. It's a little bit more, time consuming in that. So it's always best if the buyer and seller can negotiate.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to say 99.9% of the time, if the appraisal comes in low, somebody on one end of the transaction or the other knew about it. In other words, it was listed too high. They got a great price. Maybe they thought they could sell for more. Or the buyer, Harvey, because remember, we work on the buyer side of the transaction. The buyer knew that they were going to have to overpay.
Right.
So either way, and there's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong with overpaying for a house.
Nope.
As long as you know what you're getting into. Because guess what? Why not pay a little more for something that you want to be in for 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah,
There's nothing
it's a
wrong with
short-
it.
And to piggyback on that, I've been reached out by, like you said, like somebody knows the appraisal is going to be a little bit on the tighter side. So, and that we have a conversation. For me, I'll have a conversation with the buyer, and I will just, they're thinking that this appraisal might come in a little bit low. We need to talk about the several different things that we can do, but they'll say flat out, I have the funds, I'm willing to overpay if need be, and then we have certain disclosures they need to sign that they're acknowledging the fact that they are overpaying for the house and that kind of thing. So, but you're right, Harry, like someone knows it's going to happen. It's about seeking the professional help so that way we can guide you in the beginning so there's no surprises. It's not like, oh, gasp, it came in $10,000.
Came in lower.
Yeah.
Right.
We did a rebuttal on a VA loan back in August.
All right, hey, we're going to talk all about appraisal. Don't allow a bump in interest rates to be a psychological barrier. We're going to talk about some appraisal issues when we come back. Alice has got a lot to share. Sherry, we're going to get you to jive in. We're going to have that little conversation about the difference between condos versus buying a home as an empty nester. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Mike Valenti, afternoon.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show. 9:45 if you're just joining us. We've got 15 more minutes, folks. If you're itching to talk some college football, you got the right station. 248-539-9797. Got Dennis Fithian coming up. It's with sports at 10 o'clock till noon. Of course, the game will take us over at noon. And then we've got sports later on in the day. Game 7 tonight here. So if you're a big sports fan, definitely keep it on 97.1 The Tickets for all your updates. 248-539-9797. You want to talk mortgages? John Kolb, I mentioned jumbo loans right before we went to break. Jumbo loans are just definitely outstanding rates. Why? Because it's extremely competitive market. You can buy and purchase a house with 5% down. You can buy $800,000, $900,000 house with 5% down. We offer these programs. So lots of opportunities out there if you're looking to buy a really nice house.
Yeah, I mean, you're going the rates on the jumbo products are great. I mean, it's a portfolio product, so you're not competing in the open market like, the regular 30, 20, 15-year fix. So, you've got more competition amongst the banks to try to get your business. And that's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for clients who are looking to do a little bit more. I mean, we had a client just a couple months ago who his loan was $454,000 instead of $453,000. We told him to keep it at $454,000 because his rate was about 3/8 better than the conventional rate because it was a jumbo product.
Right.
And the process was smooth, easy. We do the internal underwrite. We do all our closing still in our office. There's nothing different for us.
Yeah, if you're looking to buy a nice house, you want professional people involved, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. You get you all set up. More importantly, we got Kevin Stewart in here. Kevin, you're just a great real estate agent. Your team's awesome. I know you guys are in downtown Rochester. One of the things that I always tell people is, they try to do it on their own, and sometimes it can work out if you don't have a lot of moving parts. But most transactions do need professional people. And there's no doubt a professional agent shows you so much. Things about the association that families don't know about, such as in a subdivision, if you can put a fence up in the future, and just having professional real estate agents check all those things out. Can a fence go up? Can I put a pool in the future? Can I bring my Winnebago here and leave it on the driveway for a couple months? These are such important things when families are buying homes.
You're giving away all the secrets. This is
right.
Kevin's niche. This is Kevin's niche. You're giving away all the secrets.
Because Harvey brings up a great point, Kevin, because those are in the subdivision association bylaws. Exactly everything he said. Pools, fences, recreational vehicles,
playgrounds.
There's certain things that you can and cannot have. There's some that I've seen basketball nets. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was president of my association. I was putting up a basketball net. There was nobody going to stop me to do that, right?
Homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Minnesota Vikings host the New Orleans Saints. Sunday Night Football after the Red Wings game on 97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:46. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're in our 19th year already, and of course, you can call Capital, 1-800-LOW-RATE. 1-800-569-7283.
19th year on the show. 19 radio years. Yeah, let's clarify that.
We're gonna be back again next year.
Oh, duh.
There you go. Hey, y'all, we got some cool things going on at Capital Mortgage. We're going to get to some calls here. We got our home buying seminars are just kicking off here. We like to do them personally. Again, we're starting them at the office. They go on from 11 to 12 o'clock every Saturday morning. You call 1-800-LOW-RATE. You tell us you're coming on in. We'll wait for you, definitely, because usually it's a handful of people that'll show up, but they're really great. They're educational. There's no cost. Get you a hot cup of coffee and answer all your questions. The key is to really get yourself set up for home ownership. That's one of the things I think after all these years of doing mortgages that I wish more and more families would do. If you're a slam dunk W-2 borrower here, you've got your funds in the bank, that's different. If you're thinking about gift funds, if you got some money out of your 401k, you truly need to know the process and the steps and the procedures. Yes, we have the easiest way you can download documents. Of course, our Capital Mortgage Fairway Now application makes it very easy. Digital mortgages. Yep. We offer everything online and the ease of doing a transaction.
Right on your phone. You can even do
it
on your phone.
You can apply for a mortgage on your phone back.
Right. Yeah, but I think the best part about it is we want to educate people. We want to prepare people for the process. All right. We want to get you ready to go so you understand fully that when you enter into a transaction, the hard work's already done.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll prepare you. We'll make sure that you have all your documents in order. We'll prepare you for what you're going to need. And if there are any hiccups like the gentleman called before, we can work that credit situation out. So you're not writing a $500 check to a credit repair place that will do the same thing that you and I can do for yourself.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to do the hard work. We'll guide you through it. No use in paying somebody $500. People are going to get mad at me, call up, get mad at me. It's okay.
Yeah, don't be your own worst enemy, right? It's exciting, but talk to us. Come in, shake our hand. Let's sit down. Let's talk about things in advance. If you want to email me, we can email all day long. If you want to text Harvey, we can text Harvey all night long because he'll take your calls. He'll take your texts.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
It still is fun.
Yes, it is a fun. And if it stops being fun, then we obviously just in life in general, everyone, you need to find a different occupation.
There
But
you go.
we love what we do. It's fun and it's exciting. So that's why he's talking about this new home buyer seminars. Like you're going to get that one-on-one, sit down, talk to us. Let's talk it out. And yes, you're pre-approved to buy a new home. Do not celebrate by going out and buying more debt. Don't be your own worst enemy. Talk to us first so we can prevent any hiccups so we do have a smooth transaction.
There you go. Let's move off to Joe in Garden City. Hey, Joe, thanks for calling in. Go ahead with your question.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, folks. Good morning to you. So my wife and I are going through a FHA mortgage. We own our home, but we're taking some money out because we're putting windows in. We're doing updates to the house. Okay?
Great. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Got a couple questions about the appraisal. All right. We had some wind damage to the garage siding, which, I'm gonna fix. That's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a couple shingles come off, and we had it tarred up by a roofer. He and it doesn't leak or anything like that. We just, wanted to make sure it didn't leak because we just had the house painted. But if we're replacing that roof in the spring, will they call us on that if we don't put new shingles on there and if it's not leaking?
Yes. They're going to call it because it's different situation. It looks different. It's not the same as the rest of your roof, and it looks like it's under repair. So they're going to call it because it's not fully repaired properly.
Did they already do they haven't done the appraisal yet. I would get the work done if you have enough money, and I know you're doing a cash out refinance. Instead of having the lender hold back, let's say 1.5 times the amount of the repair, that repair could be $500. In a situation, if it's going to be cited, we would hold back typically 1.5 times the amount of it would cost to repair that. It could be $750, it could be $1,100. So you could move forward and complete your transaction, Joe. And we would just hold back and go ahead and fix the roof, use the money, close on the transaction. We would send an inspector back out after all the work's done, and of course, you would get your money back. Mm-hmm. So you could go that route.
So the question is, will it get called on an appraisal? Probably yes, but there's a remedy for that. The remedy is we could hold back money until it's done, and then we could disperse the money after it's complete.
And it's also called an escrow holdback is what we, technical term.
Yeah. Now, again, $150 for a reinspection fee. Joe, if that's the only thing that really would be cited on your inspection of the house on the FHA.
Then I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, either that or get the work done ahead of time. If you can go ahead and get the work done ahead of time.
If you're pulling the cash out, you reimburse yourself anyway. So that might be, if that $500, just get someone out there real quick just to fix those few shingles might be worth it.
I like that idea.
Right. No, I mean, it wouldn't, you guys don't think it would stop the loan from going through. They would just hold back a little bit of money.
No. Correct.
Yeah. It's not going to.
one other thing, real quick, and I'm sorry to take up all
No,
your
these are
time.
good. That's fine.
So there's 2 windows. The windows are being replaced in like 3 weeks by Hanson's. Okay, we have the contract. We're all financed for that and all that stuff. They're just making the windows, obviously. There's 2 windows that have small cracks in them, but again, within 3 to 4 weeks, there's going to be brand new windows all throughout the house. If we have the contract, will they accept that as a fix?
No, I would. You're going to be up for reinspection on that. They'll cite those broken windows also. I'm at this point. I'm starting to think that we just hold off on the appraisal. We have to decide: should we hold off on the appraisal, or should we go ahead and have the appraisal done? They're going to cite these repairs. Then you're going to have them fixed, and then we can close. I would still avoid. I think I would get them all done. That situation with the windows, and
now it's the glass that's cracked. Is that what we're talking about?
One pane of the glass, the outside pane.
they're going to cite them.
Yeah, they're definitely going to flag it, and then it's going to be like what Harvey was talking about, where they're going to probably force a reinspect if they do kind of focus on it, and then we can either say it's going to be 1.5 times holdback. Obviously you're taking those steps, but if you're already financed and that kind of thing with the windows, and they're already going to be happening, you might be better off so that we don't have an unnecessary $150 charge for both the roof and these windows, since everything's kind of in motion as it is. It just might be a matter of like pushing it back just a tint, so that way it's just going to save you. It's going to make it a little bit more smoother once you get that appraisal done.
Yeah, I love the idea. Joe, I wrote it down on my page 3, FHA cash out refinances, and it's a great conversation because families out there have a little bit more debt. FHA allows you to have a higher debt to income ratio and 85% cash out of the appraised value. I think we're going to call you off the air, definitely, Beck, and maybe
absolutely.
Joe will ask you a few other questions and maybe just guide you through it a little bit tighter. And we wish you the best of luck, and thanks for the call.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, guys.
All right,
you guys
good
have a
stuff.
great day.
Thank you very much.
All great questions out there, and again, if you can skin a cat a couple different ways. I don't want to say that, but you definitely can.
I've got a dog in here.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So here's the thing with FHA, what they cite. They're going to cite first and foremost, health and safety issues.
Mhm.
Okay, so a health and a safety issue are going to be
Chipping paint,
chipping paint. You're going to have no
shards of glass.
Broken glasses, no good. No handrails up and down the stairways.
Handrails on stairways, but then also if there's a hole in the roof or it looks like the roof needs to be repaired. Same thing with windows, cracked windows, things of that nature. Those things are going to be cited on an FHA appraisal.
Even little things that you don't think about, like outlet covers, right?
Smoke detectors.
GFI, smoke detectors, electrical outlet covers, things those are health and safety issues.
Sherry, let me bring you back into the conversation. 248-539-9797. We've got Gap Realty in here. If you want to sneak a phone call on Sherry, we had the conversation last night. Empty nesters. Some of them are looking at buying houses. Some are thinking condos are the path. That association fee can go up, up, and up. What do you see lately, Sherry? Where are more of the empty nesters? Do they just like the ease of the condo sounds easier?
Yes, because then they don't have to do any of the yard work. They don't have to shovel any snow. They don't have to cut any grass. It's just much more convenient.
When we're sitting down with these folks and we show them some of these association fees, I mean, a couple of the guys have looked at me and said, wait a minute, Harvey, this is heavy duty. Once they own the house free and clear, you got your taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your upkeep, but then you've got this association fee if you're on a condo. We see these going up, up, and up.
But Sherry, when people get to Harvey's age, and explain to Harvey, when they get to his age, they don't want to do all that work anymore, right?
I don't know. Maybe
When they get to my age.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to cut the lawn.
Maybe when I'm 62 or 72, these condos are going to look better.
Well, I have a lot of friends who obviously are around my age, and they're starting to become empty nesters. They want to downsize from that 2,400 square foot home to a ranch condo. There's no work to be done, like I said, on the outside. So, why not? The last kid is going to college soon.
Yeah, we were actually talking about the other day how it's kind of like a flip flop. You have your first time home buyers that are kind of stepping into these $250, $300 price ranges, and then you at the same time you have that the upper echelon, if you will. They're going down. They're going down to what used to be what the first time home buyer was that 1,100 square foot ranch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, that is the fastest hour in radio.
Great
There
show,
it goes
guys.
again.
Nice job.
We want to thank everyone coming in from Gap Realty, of course, Alex Pandoff and Sherry Zach. I can get that one. Zach. You guys are always great. Just down home folks. Look them up, Gap Realty in the Downriver area. They cover the whole Downriver and a whole lot more. We've got tons coming up here. Of course, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get a strong approval letter. Our home buying seminar is going to start at 11 o'clock today. We've got Jeff Rieger coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1. For Harvey Free, for Harry Glanz, Becky Alley. We'll see you next Saturday.
The preceding was a paid program.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.